Our next guest traveled to the southern border to see for themselves the crisis there, and they're joining us to share that experience. In a moment, we expect to have Tennessee Senator Marsha Blackburn amongst them, but right now we have Sheriff Mark Daniels and Sheriff Mark Lamb, both of the border state of Arizona. Thank you both for joining us. Sheriff Lamb, I will start with you. We've been hearing today reports of drug cartels using children as decoys and pawns. How big of the problem have you seen for yourself?
Yeah, we're 60 miles off the border, and we're seeing this problem every day. Just this morning, we had a pursuit with a vehicle. We ended up having to use stop sticks to stop it. We had to release a canine on the driver. There were 7 undocumented aliens in there, and 3 of them were children. So this is an issue that we're dealing with all over the place here in Arizona, especially on the border, like where Sheriff Daniels is, and we're not immune from it, even one county off the border.
Yeah, Sheriff Daniels, I know you've spent a lot of time on the border. What did you see on this trip that surprised you?
Well, Bob, let me say this first of all, is I was so excited to see Senator Blackburn come down here, see it firsthand. I wish every Congress member, House and Senate, would come see the southern border somewhere to see the reality, and not the political side of this, but the reality of what's going on. We have a crisis on our border when it comes to our children, when it comes to the cartels, it comes to the drug smuggling, the human smuggling, and the message that's being sent. Yeah, I'm appreciative of her coming down here with Sheriff Lamb.
Sheriff Daniels, where are you housing all of these folks? I mean, we keep hearing about the numbers and some of these facilities with these children being at 700% capacity. Are you experiencing that, and what are you doing about it?
Well, Heather, what's going on is they're being housed in our local Border Patrol stations, and then they're being bused. The national or non-government organizations are shipping them to Phoenix on charter buses, about $1,500 per bus, to get them out of my county. But here's the negative side of that is there's so many children in our Border Patrol stations that the agents are no longer doing border security. They're in child care. They're at the Costco's buying formula and diapers. So it's taken away from what they do, and that is protect our borders.
We're joined now by Senator Marsha Blackburn, and we appreciate you joining us, Senator. You went down to the border. You've talked with these gentlemen, of course. Give us your impressions.
First of all, they are doing a great job. And it was so interesting to see some of their constituents there in Pinal County and Cochise County, how they interacted with them. They're just so grateful that local law enforcement is out doing the job and that they are working, because they are not seeing Border Patrol out patrolling that border. And there in Cochise County, you are right on that border, and people are traveling through. Then over in Pinal County, you're a little bit off the border, but that is where the migrants are transiting through. People are having these migrants come onto their property. What you are seeing is a lot of the ecosystem for wildlife and the habitat ecosystem is being destroyed because of how the migrants are transiting through that area and walking. And over in Pinal County, we walked in an area where they come from the Indian reservation that is on the border up to the interstate. A lot of drugs that are coming there. The Sinaloa cartel, El Chapo's cartel, runs the Mexican side of the Arizona border. They are pushing 50% of all the drugs that are coming into this country through Arizona. Think about that. I-8 and I-10 have become the fentanyl freeway. And these sheriffs are out there on the front line protecting their people from all of this illegal entry. The human trafficking, sex trafficking, drug trafficking, and they are seeing it all every day. They're living it every day.
Yeah, and Sheriff Lamb, something else that's coming in with this is COVID, because it's my understanding that they're not being tested, unless that's changed, at the border when they come in, and instead they're leaving it up to the local entities to try to get these folks tested, if at all. How concerned are the people there in your county about that, about COVID?
Oh, we're very concerned, and you're exactly right. They are not testing these folks for COVID. When we catch them, we don't have the ability to test them. So no, they're not being tested, but not just COVID. You're talking scabies, TB. There are so many other issues that are being brought in that our government is willing to turn a blind eye to, and I have an issue with that. And now you have President Biden appointing Kamala Harris to untie the situation. Well, that's like barking at a knot. It ain't going to work. Just last week, she was asked if she was going to come to the border to view this issue, and she laughed as if it was some kind of a joke. Well, it's not a joke to us, and it's not a joke to the American people. We want results.
Senator, from what you saw, is this a crisis? And if it is, what needs to be done?
It is a crisis. This is a crisis of Joe Biden's making. It is the Biden open border policy. It is the Biden immigration plan. He broke the border, basically, and now he is depending on other people to put this together. Here is what we need to do. President Trump had the migrant protection policies, the Remain in Mexico policy, the asylum policies, building the wall. They need to go back to building the wall. He had ended the release programs. This needs to be put back in place. All of his proposals need to be put back in place. Border Patrol will tell you they need more technology. They need more boots on the ground to help them with this. And they need those resources so that they can protect their communities. They're working as hard as they can.
Senator Blackburn, we're almost out of time, but because this was brought up today, I wanted you to answer this. President Biden said part of the problem is because former President Trump had money available to him that he was not using in these countries, specifically the Northern Triangle countries, and that he's going to reinstate that money, and that would help solve the problem.
One of the things I've worked on with the State Department is having some type envoy or designee to handle the Northern Triangle countries. I do not think it's completely accurate that there was money available to work on these issues with those countries. We have had an issue where these countries are saying, we don't want our citizens, our bright young people to leave. We need them to stay in our country for our health, prosperity, viability. They don't want the cartels working in their country, and they do not want to end up like Venezuela. They do not want the communists working in their country either.
All right, Senator, thank you so much for joining us. Senator Marsha Blackburn,
Good to be with
Sheriff
you.
Mark Daniels, and Sheriff Mark Land. Thank you all.